All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategy contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, we started out with some weakness in the European banks and weakness in the S&Ps. We're able to sneak down to 1306, but we're on the rebound.
We are on the rebound. Around 3 o'clock this morning, all of these European banks were down significantly. We're talking 3-4% losers. Deutsche Bank was trading down, I know, as low as in the 35 handle. It has bounced back. You can see here it's actually trading 36.50. So it is still down 50 cents. But a lot of these European banks that were down really weak about 3 or 4 hours ago have actually rallied up. So you come in, you see, oh, Europe's down again. Well, it was really down. It's actually on the rebound right now.
Yeah, taking a look at that Deutsche Bank, Dennis, really the 36 level is really the only thing standing between that and the October lows. Looking at the pre-market activity in Deutsche Bank, Dennis, we did get a print at 35.81 and have kind of had a rebound since. But you know what, Dennis? These things are just on the decline, and who knows what's going to turn it around.
Yeah, Europe's still got a ton of trouble, and I think eventually we're going to have, another more round of problems coming from over there. But right now they're kind of just teetering and holding on here a bit. Hewlett Packard, some good news here, Joel, before we depress all our listeners. Hewlett Packard came out, actually beat handily last night. The guidance was good too. The stock is trading up $1.60 here, Joel. In the pre-market, it's done over 500,000 shares already. It traded a ton last night after hours. Got up to 23.30 this morning. Did it get above there last night though, Joel?
Yeah, it did, Dennis. It did get up to 23.64.
Okay.
Yeah, after the bell yesterday on that news. It went straight up, Dennis, hit that level. It's kind of been selling off a little bit since then. Did find a home at the $23 level. Spent some time above that, but now we're trading in the 22.70s, Dennis. I don't know. Is this a pop and a drop?
It's hard to say. Like I compare it, to the Best Buy where it was up pre-market, on its earnings report the other day, and then it gave it all back. It was a real dog. But this one here has traded for quite a few hours now up because it traded the entire after-hour session, so 4 hours, and actually got stronger as the after-hour session went on. It is consolidating here. I don't know if I'm going to... it's hard to say. You always have sellers seem to come in on these dogs. But, it might hold on to these gains. We do have multiple highs, though. I just want to point these ones out here, Joel, because it does kind of coincide with their 2360 or after hours high there. 2361 was the high on May the 10th. We had a high of 2350 on May the 11th. This going back May 9th was 2353. And on May 8th was 2369. So you have 4 highs in that whole area, which coincided with the after hours high within 10 or 15 cents. So I think that whole area is probably going to give you some pretty good resistance if we get back up there, Joel.
Yeah, but also you had some highs ahead of or after that, Dennis, at the 2305 level. So I think that could be some psychological resistance too. I mean, the only reason I'm not rushing out and buying and putting the stamp of approval is they're cutting jobs, Dennis. They're cutting 27,000 jobs. This is a cost-cutting rally. What have they done to improve their core earnings? What have they sold more computers? Have they come up with a new product? Have they come up with a new printer? Or is just simply a result of cost reduction?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It is the results of cost reduction that was said in the conference call. So so it's hard to really have a long-term positive outlook when you're making more money just because you're cutting costs. So keep that in mind when you're trading the stock there today too. Other stocks, NTAP NetTap is getting rocked, Joel. This stock came out after hours earnings. The guidance was terrible. Stock is trading at multi-year lows right now. I got to go to the weeklies to try to show you. Well, I haven't got to go farther than that. I guess I got to go to the monthlies to try to find some support here, Joel. We're going in back into 2009. I was finding a $25 level back in 2009. What do you got for us?
Well, let's go to the pre-market activity, Dennis, and you did get a low at 24.50s. After that, we really actually been on the rebound, Dennis, but the stock has run into a mound of trouble here, just under $28 at 27.59. Has been the top since making that low under 25. Going to the weeklies or actually the monthlies, Dennis, it is pretty scary between this 30 and 25 level. But 25.41 was the low on October 30th, or the month of October in 2009. So I imagine you start getting back anywhere under that $26 level, 25 to 26. You'll be met with some very good support. And unless this thing can break above $28, it's going to be a rough day for NTAP.
EMC having a sympathy move with it as well, Joel. Trading down here in the pre-market. Not terrible, 24.90, so down about 50 cents here, Joel. This is a stock, actually. I'm going to give you closer charts on this one, though. But we've had a couple of bottoms here in this 24.80 to 24.76 area. Yesterday's low, 24.79. So looking at that number, we're trading 24.90 just above there right now. What do you think? Is this a buy on the NTAP weakness, Joel?
I think this is one of the few occasions, Dennis, where you can pick a spot, pick an area, and off the open, if it doesn't work out, perhaps try reversal. Always you got the chance of a whipsaw, but you got some major support here. 3 of the last 4 days lows right in this area: 24.80, 24.85. You did dip below there in the pre-market, 24.35. Not a ton of volume associated with this move, but just if this thing doesn't get a pop from the open, get over $25, I expect there to be some pressure on those triple bottoms. Also, you don't have really another major low in this stock to 24.24. Furthermore, you got a gap, Dennis.
You got a gap in there too. Where's the gap there, Joel? I didn't go. I go out to the weeklies.
No, it's not on the weeklies. I found it on dailies. You had a gap up on the morning of January 24th.
Okay.
You don't remember that gap up at EMC?
You think I got a memory of? No.
23.64 was the high on the 23rd, gapped up to 24.24. So there's a nice gap there to fill. This may be the day to do it with the negative NTAP news.
Costco. It is trading a little bit higher here, Joel. It was trading quite a bit higher earlier. Now it's got a pretty wide spread, actually. Got up into the high 84s. Now trading 83.50 to 84.20, as you can see there. Obviously, there's a huge bottom here at 82. We had like a little double bottom there in earlier May. If it comes back down to that level, that's major support. And then resistance is pretty defined too here, Joel. If we get up into the May highs here, 85.26, 85.21, 85.14, and just before that was 85.05. So call that whole area 85.20 area major resistance. So you got major support down here at 82. You got major resistance up here at 85.20. We're kind of in the middle. I'm sitting on my hands until it gets down towards that support level or up towards that resistance level. What do you think?
I'd have to agree with you there, Dennis. This got to pop up to 84.92 in the pre-market. You have all those highs just above 85 in May. Then you did have the same formation at the $82 level. I think I would let this thing battle it out between 82 and 85 and see if you can catch a move after that. But fundamentally speaking, Dennis, I like Costco. I go there, I buy a lot of stuff. But you know what you like about Costco?
What?
Is that I can go to Costco and I can shop and buy water bottles and paper, buy all this stuff. And it's, $321.48. And I go to my wife to the grocery store and I buy food for a week. And it's $150.
Right.
I mean, there's value out there, and they do well for their customers. So I I like Costco.
Yeah, we like Costco too. We do shop there quite a bit. My wife goes there as well. And you're right. If you're buying in bulk, if you got a bigger family, it's fabulous. So, because you can get stuff, quite a bit cheaper, and especially if you want to buy in that bulk. Let's just move on here. Tiffany's, Joel, TIF. This stock here, taking out the major support level of 60, significantly below that, 57.45 to 57.50. Going out to the weeklies here, try to find you a little bit more support. If we go back here, I'm going back quite a ways here now, but into 2011, I'm going back to into I think it's March of 2011. You had a low of 54.58. But before then, if we want to look, actually in October or just in September of last year, or actually October 7th of last year, 56.21 was the low. So you do have some support. You have a few reference numbers in here. What's the pre-market low there, Joel?
The panic low in Tiffany's was 56 and a Q, Dennis.
Okay, so you have 56 pre-market low. You got a 56.21 low. So I'd call that whole 56 area pretty major support on this. We're 57 and a half. We're a buck and a half above there. So if it drifts down to that area, maybe you give it a shot. Starts to take that out though. You don't have much until that low that I'd point out there, that 54.58. So you got a little bit of air below that 56 area.
Yeah, Dennis, people are trading this. I see so far today 158,000 shares traded. This is not a real heavily traded issue. We do have the bottom in the pre-market at 55.75. I'm sorry, 55.75. We're on a nice rebound. That rebound has been capped at $58. So let's keep an eye on those two levels. Going back to the fundamentals, Dennis. I mean, boy, whew, that stuff in Tiffany's is not cheap. I don't know, whenever I go by that store, I'm like, who the hell is buying that stuff?
It's hard to justify all that if you're strapped for cash. You're not really going out and spend a lot of money at a place like Tiffany's. And similarly, Coach is having a little bit of sympathy move with it. You got the expensive purse maker there, which is down with Tiffany's. 67.70 it's trading right now. I'm going to give you a daily chart to give you a little bit closer action. This stock had a pretty wild range yesterday, Joel. Got down to 66.82. I'd keep an eye on that low today. We're dangerously close to that. 67.11 is the best bid, but 67.70 is where it's trading. So this is going to probably be weak off of those Tiffany numbers. I'd expect, if this thing opens, just slightly down, that may get some selling pressure. So your take on Coach?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Coach is hit a low and has been on the rebound a little bit in the pre-market. Not a lot of trading here, Dennis. So see what the sympathy move is in Coach, and I would just keep an eye on that. The range from yesterday should be excellent parameters.
Might as well stick with this jewelry store theme right now. One we've never talked about on the show. On the show, there's Signet Jewelers, SIG. That reported earnings as well. This thing is getting rocked right now. Rocked. It's trading $42 right now. Some pretty big size. 5,000 shares just printed there. 43 off for 41.75. These lows down here, 43.45, trading below that right now, so that might act as resistance here now. If we go out to the weeklies here, a little trickier to find support. Maybe we'll let Joel find that.
Okay, this is a tricky one here, Dennis. I'm talking about some lows last year. You had a low last year at 41.33. You had a low at 41.45. These are spread out 41.54. So I would look at this 41. I mean, the chart, the pre-market chart, is definitely not showing any kind of hint of it going back anytime soon. But I think you probably do get some short covering under this $42 level, perhaps to 41.50. Coming back on the rebound here. Dennis, 44 has been the recent high here, so I'd keep an eye on that if you're shorting this thing early and looking for an out.
Pandora Media, which is P, it reported earnings here, getting a really good lift, Joel, in the pre-market. It's up over $12 now, 12.07 to 12.14, trading on the 12.14. 100,000 shares have traded. We're over that high that it made just a couple weeks ago at 11.50. You're now into a gap area, Joel. We had this gap down day in early March from 14 down to that 11 or 1086 area or 1130. So you've got a lot of air in here, Joel. What's your take on this?
Yeah, 1238 was the high in the pre-market, Dennis. The stock is getting a lift now, trading in that gap area. I don't know. I mean, just maybe doing a little bit of a parallel analysis here with the group on. Remember that, Dennis, when that thing gapped up on the open after earnings
Right.
and couldn't hold it? I'd keep an eye on this 1238 level that was the high in the pre-market. Very, very wide open there until to fill the gap at $14. So it's really the only thing you can really use is the pre-market high. And if this thing starts to go into reverse and can't hold $12, get out of the way, Dennis. It's going to be going back perhaps down as low as yesterday's high at 1042.
Well, let's get away from the movers and talk about Apple again because Apple had another good day. Obviously, had the big run-up day, kind of pulled back a bit, consolidated. Actually, if you look from the chart just from the last couple of days here, we kind of found some support here in this whole 553 area where we've kind of bounced off, and now we've ran right up yesterday, got dangerously close to that high that we made on the initial move, which was 573.88. We got to 571 or 572.77 yesterday. We are trading above there right now at 573.28. Apple is starting to look a little bit better here again. I mean, the stock seems to every time the market goes to rebound, it seems like Apple's leading us the charge out here, Joel.
Yeah, that I mean, I guess it's as close as you can call it to a double bottom in a $550 stock. If you were waiting to buy it at Tuesday's low, 552.58, you got shut out as 553.23 was the low. Even as the SPOOs drop below 1300, the stock really didn't budge. On the rebound, Dennis, this whole 575 area. The 9-day high at 574.47. Tuesday's high at 573.88. We are trading above that level right now, or at that level. We did hit 574.91 in the pre-market. It just kind of this like 575 is huge to me, Dennis. And really, if you look at the numbers, you really don't have a lot above that until the 578.36 area. So if Apple can get above and hold 575 over the couple of days, I think this thing could be on the rebound back up to 600.
Maybe a quick look at Facebook. Just we are going to run short on time, but we'll give a quick look at Facebook here. I'll take you to last couple days of trade. Obviously, yesterday bouncing off the $30 level in the pre-market. It's kind of consolidating here now. It had a pretty tight range for the majority of yesterday. It looks like it's consolidating. We're ready to make a move one way or another. I wouldn't be surprised. Everybody came out. It was available for shorting yesterday. I think a lot of people were surprised it really didn't get beat up. But it doesn't surprise me because, people are anticipating, oh, when the shorts get on this thing, I better sell before it's shortable because everybody will beat it up. But like you were pointing out to me the other day, sometimes, when people start getting short these issues, then you can get a squeeze which can cause those wicked spikes. So when nobody's short the thing, you can't get those wicked spikes up because nobody's really losing money by the thing going up. But, when it starts to drift higher and people are short it, then you can get those wicked spikes, Joel. So I think, sometimes being able to short the stock, it's counterintuitive, but can actually drive the price higher.
Yeah, Dennis, looking at the pre-market, we did get a pop up to 32.79. So this 32.50, Dennis, it was Wednesday's high.
Yeah.
I think if in fact we can get, now we're currently trading above it. If we can get back above 32.50, hold that 32.50, go to that pre-market high at 32.79. I think this thing has a chance to rally today. Above that, above the pre-market high, I see nothing to 33.59. The close will be critical too here. 32. If you want to try and buy this thing on weakness, 32 to 31.75 looks like a real good area of support. Of course, the all-time low, 30.68 in during the day session and 30 in the pre-market. But you have got a consolidation of ranges, Dennis. We'll see if this thing can either make a higher high for the first time and a higher low.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, Joel. SPOOs are up $3, holding up a little bit considering how weak Europe was this morning. I consider this a victory so far. What's your final take on the overall market?
Bumping up against Wednesday's high, that is 13.19. Above that, you have Tuesday's high at 13.24.50. Either we've found a little range here between 12.90 and 13 and a quarter, or the market's ready to bust out above this 13.2450, 13 and a quarter level, and give us a nice Memorial Day rally. That's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.